European player on ladder. He plays a lot of control. He's taken all of the win cons out of Priest completely. He's taken out the Cthuns, the Malios, whenever you've got your top end. He was topping out at 5 or 6 yesterday. He just didn't play any of that. He said, look, if this is the deck, if this is the case of I've just got to not die, then let's do that. Let's not have this 9-mana Ysera hanging around in my hand. And, you know, of course, the first game he played with that ended up him needing a Cthulhu to win the game, or he couldn't win, which he didn't have because he'd taken it out. But Priest, lots of good cards, but I don't feel like it's necessarily a good actual deck right now.
Yeah, fair. I think that Priest is again is kind of like a weapon rogue, but towards the other end of the spectrum, where it's got a lot of polarized matchups. They're just different different matchups, right? Than Rogue has. So, well,
this is going to make the last hero standing weeks amazing if the meta hasn't changed much by then. By the way,
well, I'm sure it will have changed.
Where you're trying to
counter
stuff, it may do.
But I'm looking forward to that for sure. But this matchup is, as a Priest, you're just trying to keep your health total high and keep the game from running away with you, trying to dodge the character's flow, because there is a huge amount of burst damage available in this deck. That can be discounted, that can be buffed up with spell damage, timed with Imprisoned Phoenixes. From Font of Power, there's actually a lot of very impactful Mage minions that can swing games. Talking Mazakis, talking Jandis.
Right.
And now Eddie did not have the greatest of starts. He does have some card draw. Actually threw away Refreshing Springwater to just try and find like Lunacy or Incanter's Flow more aggressively. Maybe even Font of Power, because just having minions can be quite good early on. Now it's faced with the difficult decision of getting this Imprisoned Observer down to have that 4/5 in a few turns, or setting up Iceberry, which he knows will not be activated to get that Occult Conjurer down.
Yeah, it's difficult, and these early plays matter a lot with Mage. You get in a position where you can do a large amount of burst that isn't 30 quite often. So if you can get your opponent down to 19, or number pulled straight from definite actual facts, around sort of 18, 19, something like that, you can often just kill them off. So this early chip damage and how you set it up is hugely relevant. I like this Ice Barrier play the more I look at it.
Yeah. And that is just, it's an Ice Barrier every time, because that's the only secret that Eddie runs in his Mage list. So Monsanto doesn't have to worry about much. It was not randomly generated.
Yeah.
Maybe worried about Occult Conjure specifically, but nothing he can really do about it.
Yeah, that's the first thought is, oh, I know, I'm clever, I know it's Occult Conjurer. And the second thought is, oh, well, okay then. Does mean he can maybe, if he does identify that, and it's not an easy thing to identify, but he's a smart guy. No.
Wait, what? Am I wrong? Does he play another secret?
Let me quickly check. I thought he only played one as well, but I've made mistakes before. Ice Barrier, Cone of Cold, Combustion, Arcane Intellect. Oh no.
So he's just doing that to corrupt his insights.
Yes.
Okay. All right, cool. That's a clever play.
Yeah.
And it has confused Eddie very thoroughly.
It's confused. I mean, I get it because I can see the hand, but it would confuse me as well. Like, to have had a guy play a block when he's not going to get attacked, into a guy play a Hysteria when there's only one minion so far.
Yeah.
But one of those plays made sense. Well, they both made sense, but one of those was a little bit more predictable than the other.
So, from Monsanto's perspective, he's just playing the Ice Barrier to get cards out of his hand, probably to play Refreshing Springwater next turn. That's probably what he's thinking. So he's like, I'm just going to use this Hysteria because I need to corrupt these insights, and that's the only card I have in my hand that I can use right now that can corrupt insights. And he was planning to probably use both insights this turn because he was expecting turn 4, refreshing spring water, probably not any development. Now, there's been development. There's 8/8 worth of power was placed onto the board so gracefully by Eddie's mouse clicks.
Yep.
And so it's a little bit more awkward. But this could be a full clear. No, will not be a full clear. That Babbling Book's racking up the damage. Up to 3 now.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Unless that was the generated card. That's the only other question. I don't think it was. Okay, insights. Like you were talking.
Oh, Eddie's figuring it out too. Oh, Eddie's like, whoa, okay, cool, wow. Look, that was exactly what he said. He's like, that makes sense. That's why he hysteria'd. He wanted to corrupt his insight, and he didn't have any other cards to do so.
Yeah. The things that I would never spot on ladder, although they wouldn't happen on ladder. So, yeah.
Yeah. Because, honestly, Hysteria doesn't have too much application in this matchup, right? Outside of Deck of Lunacy, this deck is not really playing multiple minions at a time. It doesn't have Hysteria-able boards. So it getting rid of it just to play Insight is a pretty creative play. It just so happened that the next turn he had to Hysteria anyway to actually clear the board.
Yeah.
So it may look like he just wasted it in his N-A? I never know when the word starts with H, whatever. A Hysteria, but the play in theory I think was good.
It's different in England as well because we drop H's a lot when we shouldn't, which means that we say an hysteria or a hysteria, depending on which region you're from.
So it sounds wrong both ways. Cool.
Correct. Yeah. You can't win, basically. So you could look at that from the other side of the glass and say you can't lose, but that's not my usual default. Anyway, back to the game of Hearthstone that's in progress. Eddie has forgotten to draw great cards. Monsanto is forcing great cards to be drawn by inciting into them.
Oh, another Ogremancer. Oh, piece of candy. Talking about macro game plans, the Elusia in hand gives Monsanto some flexibility as the game goes on because Eddie can't hoard burst, right? Playing Elusia will take some setup because Monsanto needs to empty his hand of things he does not want to give over to Eddie, like Cthulhu pieces, for instance. It's very rare this matchup goes to Cthulhu because the Mage draws their deck too fast.
Yeah.
But sometimes it can be relevant, or things that allow Eddie to swing the board or develop. Those are the things you want to empty. It's still a long ways away because Eddie needs to still actually piece together burn and have like a setup turn, right? You can't just deal 30 damage from hand very often, right? Without crazy
it's been known.
Flow. But let's say Mask of Cthulhu and then sets up spell damage, right? Sets up Prison Phoenix or Mini Mage, something like that. Then that's like the trigger point. Ogre-mancers are annoying for this deck, I will say.
When this one's gone, then they're out of the way. Choices.
Deck of Lunacy, there's been one cost reduction. Has all of his 7 drops in deck. That's 3 Libram of Hopes.
And also, importantly, he's done very little actual damage, so the burn in his deck is getting more useless. Normally, by now, you'll have hurt the priest a little bit. Maybe you've got a bit of chip damage in. Maybe you've launched a fireball at their face already. Something like that. And they're on sort of 12, and you don't want to turn your burn into other things. But this is kind of the opposite. You're not getting there with a burn in this game very often from here. So let's have some different cards and have a go.
Yeah, that's a good point. Also, the longer the game goes on and you haven't pieced together a burn plan, the more likely it is for Lucia to ruin that burn plan. So Now, no, there's no opportunity for into Grand Slams though, which I think is like the biggest
Right.
thing.
Yeah, it definitely. I think the priest is sitting in quite a good spot the way this has gone now. But
Yeah.
we've all seen the little chart that basically shows, you know, from about turn 5 onwards, lunacy just becomes much more garbage as the game has progressed too far. And Eddie will have seen that obviously and know that, but
Yeah.
I think he was out of choices. Firstly, boom.
Yeah. Astroman to Solarian, that's a win condition, I guess.
Yeah. You can always tell when a player of this quality thinks they're losing because the Astromancers get played quicker.
Oh. That's a clear.
Wow.
Kona Cold Brain Freeze,
Yeah.
Devouring Plague. Interestingly enough.
A lot of stuff, but I don't think you mind because you haven't got to clear many things. And when's your Cone of Cold going to be useful? When's your Brain Freeze going to be useful? Even though you're using a lot of stuff here, it's fine, right? You often wouldn't want to invest this much in some decks because, you know, you've emptied half of your hand or a third of your hand. But yeah, I like this.
Yeah. Well.
So Monsanto has to make a judgment of if he thinks he's winning or not, because he would like to soul mirror this Solarian, even though it's only one card in some situations.
Oh, yeah?
But yeah, 7 mana's a little bit too much. But you know what I mean? Like, if he thinks he's out of options, then that's a choice. I don't think we're there yet, though, sadly. So I'd love to see that.
I don't even know, man.
This is what the long think is. He doesn't know, well, he will know, but he's working out which is his best win condition in this game. Like, just play them more and move on with your life and see what happens next. Maybe smite down the Astromancer.
Yeah, I was thinking Cyrella just to get a minion on board, but
Wait.
I don't like pretty much anything from that turn. Oh, look, he drew them all in a row. Well, not in a row, since he's drawing cards in between, but...
They're in a row now, though. Yeah, Monsanto had no turn that did anything, did he? This was the biggest board. He could play them more, but then he's facing down the Astroman, so bad things would happen. This was the biggest thing he could end the turn with.
What to do? What to do?
I want to save the Blade Master Apotheosis combo for a rainy day for later.
Planets and stars! Power for the taking!
I think he really needs to start weaving in some hero powers here. Mordresh is still quite a ways away. He hasn't hero powered a single time. 10 more turns, and then Mordresh is active.
This wasn't bothering Warmer earlier. He was getting those all done in one turn a lot of the time.
Yeah, well, no font of powers left for Eddie, so he can't pick up Reckless Apprentices.
Yeah.
Well, Ethereal Conjurer.
I mean, who knows? It's every card in the game is in his library, so not quite, but enough.
Yeah. And this is that part of the Priest game where you're thinking, I need to use the minimum amount of resources to try and deal with this board.
Yeah, this is the actual the skill of Priest, but it never shows until 10 turns later, one way or the other. Because things that look good, maybe you could have waited a turn before you played your Soul Mirror and killed an extra minion, but take 10 damage. Those sort of things. Until you see how those decisions pan out a lot later on, you're never quite sure if they were right or not.
To do.
Because your health total is such an important resource, and against Mage, it's very hard to use as much health as you would like to as a resource, because they might just kill you if you go too low, so you daren't go too low.
Neil, 1 ping down.
9 to go. Unless you can find a wildfire.
From Ethereal Conjurer again.
This Ethereal Conjurer's got to do some work the way we're talking.
Or Ethereal Conjurer into Font of Power. Into Want Thief. Into Wildfire.
Got him.
Alright. And here we go. Minimum amount of resources. Don't think he wants to part way with the Soul Mirror here. But that's the only way this can be killed. No, wait. Is that 10 mana? You can go Holy Smite, Apotheosis, Condemn. That's a lot of resources.
Now then, that's different. Yeah, so yeah, that is a lot of resources because he's got more things to kill. The other way around was fine because the mage didn't have to worry. There's got a lot of problems here.
And the Blade Master and Apotheosis is a good combo for wide boards. It's so hard to think what to play around, though. That's the problem. Maybe it is Holy Smite, Apotheosis, Condemn.
Well, he might just play body
no.
and just say, you've got an 8-8, I've got a 6-6, these are some numbers, let's fight over some numbers. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was actually getting there on this play. I like this play. I'm going to look at your 8-8 and my 6-6 and pretend that they're the same. But now the third Libram can actually heal up the second Libram after it trades into this 6-6. And just... Eddie, Monsanto has shown that he's in a bad spot here, so Eddie can make it worse.
That is a lot of damage from hand.
You want it? I got it.
Is he going to just fireball the 6-6 there? You want the cards, you want the counter spell, TJ? Which one do you fancy?
Cards, I guess.
Eddie wants the cards.
Oh, he could fit in another ping. Oh!
You're enjoying this ping counter.
Oh, yeah! Except he doesn't get to play fair game. Whatever. Pushes 8. Damage from hand is 15, plus a ping 16, plus a weapon swing 17. 17 damage, minimum. Oh!
He might do another one.
That's to play around Alucia, maybe?
That too. 14 on board as well. So he's saying to Monsanto, use your mana wisely. Monsanto says, right. Okay then, I will.
Now, Apotheosis and Condemn. Heals a lot.
And clears the board. And we're back where we were, except slowly but surely Monsanto's running out of cards. And he's not really getting much closer to Cthulhuing.
Vivid Spores. Just with Libram of Hope, that's sick.
I guess that's a fair point.
Okay, never mind.
Well, the Swampoos gets a target that it wasn't expecting. That's a win. Take what you can get.
Yep. How often does that happen against a Spell Mage?
Unless they're playing the weapon main to draw more cards than Luneth, then yeah, it doesn't happen. Don't heal yourself this turn. Actually, it doesn't matter. It's damage dealt, not hero powers used.
It's not Mirror Entity. It's not Counterspell. It's not Netherwind Portal. It's Ice Barrier or Rig Fair Game. He wouldn't pick Ice Barrier from that Discover. So I think Apexis Blast needs to go face.
Yeah.
Oh no, it doesn't because he's going to draw a card from his own deck.
Good point.
Oh no, that's good. Yeah, don't go face.
Mordor should go backwards too now.
Yeah, now he draws 2 cards from his own deck, or 3 cards from his own deck. But that's also more cards for Eddie to dump.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I guess he can't dump them all, is the argument. Wait, Eddie, he's looking at this palm reading. Is he thinking of just dumping everything?
He can't. Give him the worst one.
He's all bad for Eddie to have to choose from.
Okay, worst spell. Wildfire.
Sure.
Or he can pick Wildfire himself and play it. Haunted Power. What's happening? He's giving him a bunch of good cards.
He's taking a long time and he's making Monsanto's hand better. I'm confused. What's going on? I think his idea was to reduce all the costs and play everything, and then he sort of went down this route and it's gone a little bit wrong somewhere along the line.
Share your thoughts with the class now.
Did he play the Cthulhu card? No. And he's left the Soul Mirror up? But Soul Mirror.
Okay, so he got a rigged fair game. He played a 3-2 and a 1-3. But other than that, he left Monsanto's hand in just the same shape that it was. It was probably very difficult because there's so many things that generated other things, and you'd rather be the one choosing than letting Monsanto choose.
Definitely.
And I think he did that in the best way that he could.
And he low-rolled the choices, right? Like, it's like, do you want to choose between these three great cards? Well, no, I was hoping you'd offer me a Brightwing, and you haven't. Shakes fist.
Yeah.
But even so, I feel that when it offered him those three, he should have just gone with his gut, picked something, and spent the rest of the turn working out more stuff. I mean, maybe it's fine, but it didn't look fine.
Yeah, is there a reason not to play Ooze here? I don't think so.
3-2. Even forgetting the weapon kill, which is an amusing aside, it's a 3-2, right? Just play your 10-10 minion.
I guess so.
Who needs abilities anyway?
Plague Proto-Drake. Go.
Yeah. Thanks for the Proto-Drake, Eddie.
Yeah, he's got an Assassinate, but because he picked Plague Proto-Drake, then he has to deal with the minion on the other side.
Does
Maybe
that mean you
Alexstrasza is
put,
supposed to be the pick?
Oh, can it be though? You've got to get through. Eddie's only got 9 cards left of resources. I don't like the fact that Heart Cthulhu is still in Monsanto's arsenal. All right, needs to be good.
Oh, that's not bad.
It's pretty good.
So he's effectively all in on Solarian Prime, but can actually
Yeah.
assassinate Skull and Siphon Soul, whatever comes out from this. Oh! All right.
Okay, so he's got stuff.
All right. Expendable Performers. It doesn't have the card text kind of is a little bit confusing, where it says summon 7 if they all die.
Right. You
Summon
get-
7 more, but you get them no matter how many. Even if you only summon 1 because your board is full, it'll summon however many died.
Is this a clear now?
No. I'm
Wrong
close.
Cthulhu piece. I'm bad. I was thinking it was the 7 damage Cthulhu piece, which then would have been a clear. So Prime
No cards.
doesn't get used here
What? Why not?
because it might kill your 10-7.
I guess so. But is Monsanto going to be playing minions at all?
I think he play his 2/2s and just say, I've just seen you clear in a non-clearing way. Here's some more
I
stuff."
guess you can Celestial Alignment. You just load up the board and then Celestial Alignment. Yep.
What to do?
Yeah, because you've just seen your opponent couldn't deal with the last board, so how can they deal with it with one card next time?
Yeah,
Go
with
through all
Soul
the
Mirror,
top decks in
with
your
Soul
hand.
Mirror gone. Yeah.
And then if he does clear it, it's his one card, and then you play Prime anyway.
What to do?
Make a bunch of 2/2s, ping Celestial Alignment, set up for a lethal with just the 10.
Yep. I mean,
And attack
Prime
dude lives.
shouldn't go wrong either, but I think that Prime goes wrong more often than Celestial here.
Time runs out on me.
I don't think he'll even need the Prime to win with Celestial Alignment.
Yeah, exactly. Prime might get him things like rigged fair game and end up fatiguing him or something insane. Like, just don't risk it. Even though I imagine it wins a huge percentage of the time. Yeah, this is nice.
Cool.
Here's all these cards you can't have.
Yep. And that's game. See? Deck of Lunacy. Still winning games. Monsanto just going to get a peek at what's left in his deck for no reason whatsoever. Eddie, 1-0.
I wonder if he was checking they all cost 1.
Well, if there was any that didn't, it would have been Raised Dead. Because I don't...
No, because but some are bugged, right? If you
Desperate Prayer
happens to have drawn cards somehow for you, they can be reduced into 0 still, I think.
Oh, well...
But I don't think it can happen in Priest, but I think he was just looking.
Yeah.
His crazy start to the game, though, was... Yeah, Eddie's trying to work it out, works it out.
Yeah. Oddly enough, if he had a second Hysteria at any point in that game, money.
Yeah.
I don't blame him for it because from his perspective, like what are they going to play on 4 that's going to be enough damage to where you need Hysteria, or really at any point, right? He wanted to be able to go for the power play of double Corrupted Insight the next turn to try and get those minions pulled from his deck and with the cost reduced. One of those plays that looks kind of weird, pretty fancy. Could have worked out, didn't work out. But it was a crazy game in order for him to lose still because of the Deck of Lunacy. And honestly, so back and forth, those types of games are impossible to evaluate and impossible to pinpoint a single decision that could have swung that one in either direction. So now I feel like it's going to get harder for Monsanto from here.
Yeah, that's the deck you identified as possibly the weak one out of the way. Face Hunter might not get it done against Priest, although it seems to do it more often than you'd possibly imagine with the sustain it has available to it. And like you say, it's not going to get any easier for Monsanto from here.
Yeah. Eddie playing the version with double Knife Vendor, which it looks like Monsanto's going to be, playing Warlock. A lot of life gain, a lot of board clears, but still can die to Face Hunter. You still do need some timely Soul Fragment draws in order to fully get there because, like we've talked about, Face Hunter, it packs a punch, and it's not just this all-in aggressive deck. It's got that mid-game burst of power with Wrangler, Trampling Rhino, Barrack Cotobane. So, not the easiest.
Not the easiest at all. The Warlocks can get it done, but the other thing is it takes them a while to set up their fragments. They can't really life tap, or both players are trying to kill the same player. So you can't life tap very often, maybe once or twice in a game, tops, if you urgently need some cards. Sociologist works out okay, but you can't keep a 7-drop. Got to somehow contest the early board. You've then got to not die, and then you've got to heal. All in that order. It's doable, though.
This is a decent start. He's got 1 drop. Got Lucky Soul Hoarder, which is fights for board as well as shuffles those soul fragments, and Drain Soul to be able to deal with some early pressure.
Let me work my magic.
It's turn 1 from Eddie. He was going to probably coin out rabbits, but now he's got a much more ridiculous turn 2 lined up. This pack runner might... We've talked about nutty cards today, but pack runner's up there.
It's up there, yeah. Again, one of those 2 drops that, like in a vacuum, is one of the strongest 2 drops. And it crazy, one of those 2 drops where it improves so much when you're on the coin because you just get such a huge power spike playing the pack runner coin plus really a 1-mana spell preferably. But if you get even with just pack runner coin 1 drop, it's fine.
Monsanto had an awful decision to make this turn. He could drain soul because he knows that this is going to get buffed because the coin exists and train into his minion. But then he wouldn't have a drain soul anymore and it wouldn't have healed any health.
Yeah.
So he chose to tap while he's still on a decent health total and try and get more resources to occupy the board within the future.
Well, now things get a little more awkward for Eddie because if he goes pack runner coin Wolpertinger, then he may have to trade his initiate in because he's not going to have enough 1/1s with rush. To kill this armor vendor.
And you have to
doesn't trade
your 2/3 because of School Spirit.
Yeah.
You have to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I think
Or maybe he's just saying, if you have School Spirits, you have School Spirits. I want that 3 damage.
Okay.
And he's rewarded.
So Monsanto didn't keep any cards in the mulligan. And obviously had a play available to him last turn. Because Monsanto, I don't think ropes that turn with nothing to do. I think Eddie might have got the read there that there's a very good chance there was no School Spirits.
Fair point. And it pays off.
Yeah, big time. It's 3 extra damage. It's meant that, his board's pretty tasty.
Now Mankrik gonna take a stroll through the Barrens.
Mankrik, absolutely great in this deck if you can get it down earlier because he gets fetched, or the angry Mankrik gets fetched later with Barak. It's just 3 guaranteed damage, even if the Warlock has set up defenses.
Yeah. Unless both the angry Mankrik and Barak are the bottom 2.
So many
Sure.
possibilities.
School Spirits 1 turn late. Would have been fantastic last turn. Would have been a full board clear. Now, however, it's an awkward turn. I think you still do it.
Yeah, you take it, I think. But also, what do you kill? Where do you put your trade? Yeah, okay.
I don't know. Nah, I don't know. I honestly have no idea. Actually, probably the Kolkar Pack Runner. Because you have Tamsin, Drain Soul, and that's targeted removal, so you don't want a bunch of little beasts on the board.
I love the answer because I was watching Dead Draw playing the Miracle Priest the other day, and he said, I have no idea. He was a rank 3 legend, which I know that people in my presence now have been recently as well. But rank 3 legend, every turn saying, I have no idea in this Miracle Priest mirror. I'm like, well, I'm supposed to have an idea. If Dead Draw doesn't have an idea, what chance do I have in life?
Yeah, not everybody knows everything, even about a single subject.
Hungry, aren't you?
Wise words.
I try.
Right, here comes the damage.
Ooh. All right. So Monsanto knows that Trampling Rhino was selected because you would never select Wolpertinger because you've already played one. Not very efficient.
Yep.
So Siphon Soul instead of Tamsin Roam plus Drain Soul, because then that gives a target for Eddie to Trampling Rhino. And it also corrupts the Cascading Disaster. So if Trampling Rhino was just played on the board, he'd kill both the Mancrick and the Trampling Rhino. So a nice setup by Monsanto. But now, a little bit awkward. Because now he still has to give a target for Trampling Rhino. Eddie didn't fall for the trap. Instead went for more efficient damage.
So many.
Is saving that Rhino until a minion is played, which he knows a minion has to be played at some point, or Monsanto will not win the game and will die to hero powers. Wise choice.
Yep. Gonna be tight though, because Monsanto does have at least some good stuff going on here. Strongman, if he can get it down. He might have to pay for Strongman. That might be awkward later.
Yeah, and Ticketus really is not that good in this deck because you're going to destroy 5 cards that deal damage, and then they're still going to have 10 more cards that deal damage in their deck.
You just take 5 cards at random and rip them up. Who cares? Like, they're not going to use all 21 cards in their deck anyway, so it just basically doesn't matter.
Yeah. All right, so I like this play from Monsanto, not going for immediate heal, instead of still banking more soul fragments in case Sociologist Militia is drawn off the top. I kind of want to just Scavenger's Ingenuity, Quickshot Hero Power, because then you have a chance to draw the second Trampling Rhino, which will now be a 9 something health.
Yeah, the other number doesn't matter. I mean, it does obviously matter a lot because you're trying to kill them, but 9...
A 9/7. Yeah. It's an efficient source of damage. With this hand, you won't be able to empty it anyway for quick shots to draw cards because you have...
Right. Quick shots.
Potentially, 2 quick shots for 1, and secondly, a Scavenger's Ingenuity that has a 50-50 chance of drawing another 5 mana thing, so it's going to be a long time. Fitting in hero powers is just efficiency. You know that Monsanto's going to have to play minions if he wants to win the game. So
it also denies him a lot of his life gain, or some of his life gain as well.
Yeah. Ooh, hits the Wolpertinger.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Do with a few of those.
Ooh.
Whoa, the lesser spotted life tap.
So I still don't want to play Tamsin Road because you still know that Trampling Rhino's in hand, and that's just wanting to take 4 damage. So Hysteria, and then force Eddie to have to play this Rhino at some point. Because it has 6 health. He can Tamsin Roam, Drain Soul. If he plays the Rhino.
And
Eddie's got to be thinking,
right?
Yeah. He's got to be out of removal now. Look at all these things he's trying to do.
He just knows, though. Somewhere in Eddie's brain is the alarm is going off. You can just see he just doesn't want to play it, and he hasn't wanted to play it for a couple of turns. Monsanto's been reacting oddly to his plays, which means that Monsanto's up to something. And Eddie... I don't think you can resist at this point. I think you kind of have to play it, but he knows what's coming.
Well, he doesn't have to. Okay, I guess he does have to. And that's...
If you see both hands, maybe not, but you've got to be... Yeah, he doesn't like it at all. He knows what's going to come. I think we'll see the nod when this happens. Pro Hearthstone player nod.
Now the question. Do you kill your own Tamsin Roam at the end of this? With the second Drain Soul?
I don't
play around second Trampling Rhino?
So many possibilities.
No?
Haven't heard of me.
Because the Volpertinger came off the last thing. I think you just go with the read that it's not there.
Okay.
I'm not saying he won't. I'm saying I wouldn't.
Okay. It is a question though to think about, right?
It's exactly
Piercing Shot is another one.
Sure, that's a bigger deal actually. That is a much bigger deal because Eddie's doing nothing. Yeah, maybe. Okay, you've convinced me. I do it. Piercing Shot convinces me.
All right, he didn't do it.
All
right, time to start dumping. I just don't think Eddie can get through this game. He needs the Kodobane right now.
Mm-hmm.
And even then... So can he get away with just using one quick shot here to try and weave a hero power? I don't know. There's so much healing. Let's look at the... Let's take a look at the soul fragment counter. 5. There's 5 soul fragments.
It's only 10 health. We're fine. So yeah, he's going to bump into this, save the quick shot, use the hero power, I should think. There's an extra 1/1 though if he quick shots now.
Well,
You're only losing out 1 damage, kind of.
Yeah.
I guess that
Alright.
play set up the Barak, right? If he does happen to hit the Barak, then next turn he can play all the things.
Yeah. I think we can tap.
I mean, I think you're right, but I'm not sure that Monsanto can reach that conclusion. He does!
Oh.
Amazing!
One step closer to those juicy soul fragments. And now you strongman drain soul.
Yeah. Yeah.
And probably drain soul again, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm not tapping and then not double drain souling here, I think. That's my trade-off with you.
Because that's Eddie's remaining cards. He's got 1 buff trampling rhino, the Barrack Kodobane, which will pull the Mankrik, and then the rest of it is not really damage, right? Except for piercing shots and the 1 knife bender. Everything else is just board stuff.
He's done it. And he wins in like 3 turns with his 2/6/6 taunt guys. Unless the game gets disconnected forever. Use your health as a resource, Eddie.
Explosive trap, yep, damage. Damage is damage is damage is damage. Soul fragment. Armor vendor. Oh, Ticketus.
He's healing his opponent. Yeah, Ticketus is actually okay. Because there's a chance that he hits like all the 1 drops or all the 2 drops to make Barak a little bit worse. Like, it's not huge.
I don't even care. It's an 8/8.
Yeah, exactly.
He's thinking, can I die if I play Ticketus? No, because you can armor vendor too.
What?
Yeah, he's got an armor vendor. Why not life tap? Still 4 soul fragments in the deck. He's at
Yes.
15. He's gonna play an 8/8.
Almost out of time.
Monsanto's doing something deeply complicated and, you know, maths and thinking about stuff. We're going, it's an 8/8. Wedge it on the board.
All right, let's see. There's the Rhino. Oh, the good one. Oh, the good ones.
They're all gone.
He's got 2 piercing shots left. And that knife vendor. That's it. All right, explosive again.
Yep.
Wait. If he knife vendors, is he dead?
Are you?
I know. Well, is he dead to Juraxus, maybe?
He's got to keep the 1/1 in case he draws piercing shot. Wait. Why wouldn't he keep the 1/1 in hand? Because if he picked explosive trap again, Monsanto's at 7. If he attacks into face, then hero power's at 5. Piercing shot on a 1/1 is the 5 damage.
Got you. Yeah, you'd keep it in hand, definitely.
Because now Monsanto can clean up the minions that are on board with school spirits, and then if Eddie draws piercing shot, it wasn't explosive. Okay, that's why. Because it wasn't explosive. Bada bing, bada boom. He says you have 2 minions on board.
Make a thing.
Yep. Now he can hit face, and he could even in Hysteria, or Strongman, or Talon. Any of those.
They all have taunt and they all stop you from dying. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm surprised it wasn't explosive though, but...
I would have picked explosive and then kept a 1/1 in hand.
So what he did is he tried to represent the explosive. That's why he thought so long before playing the 1/1. He was trying to be tricky with Monsanto.
Yeah.
But Monsanto saw through it.
Okay.
Well fought.
And now he gives it up.
Yeah. Well, he didn't draw the piercing shot anyway, but I would have set up for really the only 2-turn lethal that I could find in that situation that's reliable. Maybe he thought that his play was more reliable because if he picks a minion generating secret there and Monsanto attacked into a minion and it was like Snake Trap, that maybe that extra 3 damage, he gets to keep 1/1s, and then if he draws piercing shot, he gets to piercing shot one of those 1/1s anyway. I don't know. Maybe his line's better. I don't know. It's like a what does he think Monsanto's going to do kind of situation.
There's an element of mind games there. So sometimes you have to do the weird thing. And usually the best time to do the weird thing is when it doesn't matter and you're going to lose anyway.
Yeah.
But it puts your opponent on their toes for the future because you might do the weird thing again.
Yeah. It's creative use. Like it's I'm pretty sure Monsanto's attacking face there all the time anyway, but if he thinks that Monsanto doesn't have a taunt or needs to clear those minions, then his play ends up working out quite well. Can't really blame him for at least trying in that situation. But that was pretty well navigated by Monsanto, honestly. Like there was a lot of like puzzle solving in the early game, because a lot of times against Hunter, you kind of know what's there. You know what their reach is. You know what their capabilities are, especially with Scavenger's Ingenuity and the Warsong Wrangler. You can kind of piece together what their hand is like and how much damage they're capable of pretty easily. It's just about navigating that puzzle. And I think the hold on Tamsin Rome and the Drain Soul for that long really paid off. So, well done.
Even on turn 2, like he had a choice to blow up a 3/2 minion that was going to be a 3/2 or just life tap. Like a difficult decision like that right the way through. He seemed to get all those decisions correct right the way through the game.
Yep. All right, now it's the Weapon Rogue for Eddie, and the one thing that Monsanto has going for him in his Control Priest, if you're not running Acidic Swamp Ooze in Control Priest against Weapon Rogue, it is the one of the worst matchups possible in the game right now. You have nearly no chance because all the healing in the world, if you're giving Weapon Rogue all the time in the world, they can piece together 30 damage in a single turn. It's not easy, but it's doable, and Control Priest does give a lot of time. Miracle Priest, on the other hand, that can be a little bit different, but Control Priest, very much so. Monsanto is running double Acidic Swamp Ooze. So Eddie has to keep that in the back of his mind when playing this matchup, because you don't want to all in on a weapon if you think that Ooze could be there. You want to kind of test the waters a little bit and be like, I'm going to make this weapon kind of big. Big enough to where it scares you, but not big enough to where it scares you too much.
Yeah. And now there's an Elucia in the mix as well, of course, which is never much fun for decks that run lots of cheap things, to be fair.
Yes, but at the same time, this is one of...
No synergy.
No, against this deck, a lot of times it's terrible. You mind render, and then you're looking at deadly poison, paralytic poison, silverleaf poison, and you're like, I can't dump any of these cards, right? The best case scenario is you could dump like a Wicked Stab or a Sinister Strike, but a lot of times you end up with a hand that you can't dump that much. That's why even on coin, Monsanto doesn't keep the mind render Lucia. He'd much prefer to full mulligan for an Ooze, and finds one.
What I hadn't realized until I just scanned his decks now, Monsanto bought 6 Oozes this week.
Yep.
2 in his Demon Hunter, 2 in the Priest, 2 in the Warlock.
Well, it just so happens that there's a Weapon Rogue on the side of Eddie. So
Yeah,
that
it makes his
could
ban
work
easy.
out quite well.
Like, it makes your ban easy if you go with that route, because then you can just ban the token druid and forget it exists every time that someone brings aggro, rather than having to sort of, oh, the druid might do this and the weapon rogue does this. Now you've just got the choices laid out for you. It's straightforward.
Oh, it came out right away! The evolutions of Mankrik right before our very eyes.
You don't pick the ones.
They've got the evolutions of Monsanto as well. He's currently laughing it off, but
Yeah.
a few more weeks of it and he might be raging himself. Although he's one of the most laid-back, calm people that I've ever met, I think.
Yes, I would agree. Ancrek is not even like an auto-include in a lot of weapon rogues, actually. No Hands didn't play it in his. Occult Neophyte also in the deck for Eddie. Doesn't run the Apothecary Hellbrim.
Do you play the Mancrick yourself? Or are you a no hands acolyte?
No Hands Acolyte. I liked his list the best.
I wonder.
But this is a board. This is certainly
Yeah,
a board.
310s are hard to deal with for anything. 110s are hard to deal with. We found that out all last year, but 310s, they're 3 times bigger, kind of.
Yeah. I mean, Eddie's doesn't even have a weapon yet, and Monsanto's already at 20, facing down 3 more.
Yeah. Loads
Cutting
of
class
options, though,
and yoink.
considering.
Yeah.
Yeah, cutting class and yoink are the two that obviously catch the eye. There's no real reason to go in on the dagger, deadly poison, or V-dagger, deadly poison, or anything. I think your cutting class is cheaper, but not till later. If you yoink, you might want to dagger first, which is kind of awful. So let's not do that. Like, let's not dagger, I mean. Let's not yoink. Got to kind of trust your deck.
Choose soon.
He is actually going to dagger.
Oh. He's going for the debate.
Yeah.
All right. He's trying to. I think he's trying to bait out the ooze here, because he has the luxury of being able to do this because Eddie had a great early game. Monsanto had a pretty poor early game. So he's able to do this play where he's still threatening a lot of damage, right? That dagger is still threatening a lot of damage. It doesn't find anything playable this turn.
It just did damage. He needed to find a way to do damage that turn. I don't think he liked that turn one bit, but he gets, like you say, sort of... It's a debate, but it's also forcing it. It's not just saying, hey, take it or leave it. I think you kind of have to take the bait to some degree, unless you can find your own way of surviving longer here, which, with 4 mana, you're staring down 6. It's tough.
Not too quickly.
Doing everything he can not to play this ooze, but I think he's going to end up having to play it.
Ooh, Raise Dead and ooze. Yep.
Sure. Yep.
That's what he needed to see.
The only thing
And
I'm
he's
sad
gonna-
about that he found it, nothing against Monsanto, I wanted to see if he played it anyway or if he healed. Now we'll never know, because it was an easy play once he found the Raise Dead.
Yeah.
Now with double weapon. Feels like that should be a lot less scary.
I'm honestly not sure here. Monsanto doesn't play Raise Dead naturally in his deck.
Give me that.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, Monsanto, he might just die from this angry Mancrick.
Yeah, I mean, he's just taking damage everywhere. So the ooze is kind of... Grandmasters nice and all that, but it's way too slow. The ooze is kind of a distraction at the moment. He's got to try and ooze him, but These minions are big enough to be annoying. But if you go for the minions, the weapon will be big enough to be annoying. Like Zyrella's kind of where you want to be.
And he doesn't play a coerce.
Oh. So the dragon's
Maybe
actually...
you could skeletal dragon?
Sure.
Because if you raise dead and ooze, your raise dead ooze probably condemn and then hero power, so you're going to be at 14 after this with still a 3/7 on board. No weapon though.
And the dragon might find you something that helps you carry on.
I can't think of anything super impactful. Maybe like a circus amalgam.
That'd be fine.
Oh, he's just going to use the Zyrella now.
That allows him to heal. That's one of the upsides, right, of the Zyrella, is you get the actual chance to spend your healing. But
Yeah, so did the ooze though.
yeah, having a look through the dragons. Yeah, you're just dead right. There's 3 taunts that spring out. One is the Dreaming Drake. One is the one you mentioned.
He can't. Oh no, he could get Dreaming Drake because it's Skeletal Dragon. It's not Dragon Cities.
There's Crimson Hothead.
Oh, the Crimson Hothead. And
That's
then
it.
Circus Amalgam.
You're done. Yeah, it's not even listed because it's not a dragon. It's everything. The way I've searched. You're right. That one as well. And that's it. That's out of, not counting the one you mentioned, that's out of 17 dragons. So 18 dragons, so 3 in 18 chance. 3 in 17. You can't get the skeletal.
That's if Circus Amalgam is even in standard.
I thought it was.
It's possible.
It is.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I've seen it. But I also played some Arena the other day, and I saw a lot of them, so...
Put that in Battlegrounds, that will cause a fuss. Right. Monsanto still just about holding on. Still has the dragon. Still actually healing sometimes.
Yeah. I think now you Ogremancer raise dead ooze? Oh, wait. Wait a second. Okay, no, he's only played 2 minions. Okay. I was thinking if he had played a 3rd minion, raised dead it would not guarantee the ooze.
Quickly.
He's pushing it, but by pushing it, he's weaving in these heals.
All right.
He's found a way to hero power every turn, but he's so low.
Oh, this is so awkward because he wants to be able to poison. Oh no. Okay. Yeah, this is smart from Monsanto because with one durability left for the dagger, the dagger's going away no matter what. Because Eddie has to swing to kill the Ogremancer before he plays a poison, or else he won't be able to clear the poison, or he won't be able to clear the Ogremancer because the 2/2 taunt will spawn because of the poison. So the ooze would be only to protect his Ogremancer, not his life total, because his life total is already protected by the Ogremancer, so he might as well heal. The only downside now is if Eddie just did that play and then re-equipped a weapon and then buffed that one up. Now, there's 3 minions in the Raised Dead pool. There's Ogremancer, Acidic Swamp Ooze, and Zyrella. So Raised Dead is not guaranteed to pick up Ooze in case Eddie were to just hero power this, kill it, and then re-equip a weapon.
If your opponent's killing your minions and not your face, then your ooze is doing its job by not even being on the board.
Bingo. So this is again, puzzles from Monsanto, right? trying to go a layer deeper than just, there's a weapon, I need to raise dead, I need to ooze. And now finally, Monsanto gets to kill the Mancrick. See, he's gotten in like 12 damage.
At least, yeah. Been there forever.
And gets to put a big taunt in the way. Can go for the condemn and then play Skeletal Dragon.
Whoa, he's going to go for the Ogremancer first to force Eddie to waste damage on it. And then he's going to play the Skeletal when Eddie's out of stuff. No, surely not.
I don't know. Which one's better? Ogremancer effectively has taunt. But it's much harder to deal with. There's no coerce, so both of them are hard to deal with. But the Ogremancer can be dealt with the Skeletal Dragon can be dealt with Prize Plunder. Not very easily, but it can be dealt with. Whereas Ogremancer cannot, or at least not in its entirety, because in order to get to the point where Prize Plunder can be activated, you're summoning a bunch of tutus with taunt.
But also, why play your dragon now? Why play your dragon now when your dragon could be amazing when your opponent actually has a big weapon? Like you say, this has virtually got taunt, but a big weapon would go through this because it'd ignore it. But
yes, but you can't get a big
can't
weapon without
ignore
playing spells.
Right, exactly.
So many.
He's going to force Eddie to go through all this mess, and then eventually we'll get a big weapon, and then he'll just play the Skeletal Dragon, and there'll be no resources left, so the weapon will have to go into the dragon, if the game's even still going at that point, which it might not be. Wow.
There's no way he wins from here, right?
I don't think so.
So he needs to draw a playable card, and then Prize Plunder.
And now, with Skeletal Dragon still in his back pocket, with a Swampoos ready to come back, probably, also in his back pocket, with Apotheosis coming down now, with a not-so-desperate prayer going to be played, but he really isn't that desperate at all. And now he's got the luxury of being able to guarantee his ooze. Or
Well, he can't guarantee an ooze. Oh, well, he got the ooze. And the Ogremancer, you can just play it again.
Yep.
He can just do whatever he wants from here, I'm pretty sure. Not whatever he wants.
Do that thing No Hands did, Eddie. Go on. Draw your whole deck and hit him in the face for a lot. Do that.
The ooze just makes this so awkward, I think.
As does the Ogremancer, the Dragon, the Hero Power, the Apotheosis.
Yeah, well, none of those things really matter. It's only taunts that matter, right?
Apparently not.
Because the Apotheosis, you can just eventually you can get to the point where you can just Cloak of Shadows and they can't lifesteal.
I like the part where Monsanto's actively destroying his own taunts.
Yeah, who cares?
Gain even more health.
Yeah. Did he hit a weapon? All right. Well, hit a self-sharpening sword. He would have preferred the swine tusk. I just don't think he gets there from here. He's just out of damage.
I mean, I don't disagree, but I'm going to look.
Yeah, here. I'll show the cards left remaining.
Yeah, let's do that. Then I can be sad.
One Deadly Poison, one Paralytic Poison, one Sinister Strike, and then the Wicked Stabs. Well, one Wicked Stab is in hand, and he still has one Wicked Stab in the deck, I believe. Yeah, there's you don't win from there. Yeah. So, normally, Priest is one of the hardest matchups for the Weapon Rogue, but Monsanto has a Priest that seems like it's not specifically designed to beat Rogue, but with weapon classes in mind, right? Double Acidic Swampoos, double Ogremancer. I mean, those 4 cards alone, you can see, are essentially what beat Eddie. He just couldn't find a way to deal with them. The biggest thing was trying to dodge the use. At some point, when you're playing Weapon Rogue, you have to just play as if nothing exists, right? Play as if, you're playing against an AI that doesn't even know what Acidic Swampoos is. Mm-hmm. And just hope that they don't have it, because when you try and play fancy, the deck just runs out of damage. So unfortunately for him, Monsanto just had the cards that were in there to counter this type of deck, and he wasn't able to get there despite 15 damage from Mancrix that game, which you're not often afforded the luxury of when you're playing Weapon Rogue, if you even include it in the list to begin with.
I think Monsanto did a very good job of ordering everything there. Like, he didn't play the Raised Dead because he didn't have to. He managed to get in a heal every turn without risking dying, or at least without risking it in, in sensible, sane circumstances. He probably took some chances where he could have died to the absolute nuts once or twice. And that allowed him to make sure that nothing bad happened. Like, he didn't just sort of see the Raised Dead, eyes light up, Raised Dead, Swampoos you again. It's like, I don't need to do this. This weapon isn't a threat. Let's kill it when it is a threat. And all those little bits added up. Like, if he's not careful, he might take an extra 5. Who knows? Maybe he gets Sinister Striked in the face. But he was careful, he was sensible, and gained an extra sort of 6 health because of that along the way. It leaves him with only one deck left, and it's that OTK Demon Hunter with double Swampoos. Of course, why not?
Well, why not? Against Hunter, they don't play weapons anymore. Not really. Brindling's rifle, sure.
Well, Illidari Studies does some damage later, I guess. There's not many Outcast cards, and they tend to be pretty good. Go with that. It's just Spectral Sight, Eye Beam, and Skull, right?
Crimson. Wait, what?
I'm losing it.
There's like 15 more than that.
Yeah. I'm double jumping. Ignore me.
There's the thing that summons 1/1s. There's the thing that deals 1 damage to things. There's the thing that gives your hero 3 attack.
Mm-hmm. It's not double jump. No, I'm going to check them all. Right.
Let me work my magic.
No coin, not the best opening hand for Eddie. No follow-up to this Intrepid Initiate. Already shaking his head. This one's looking rough.
It is. But at the moment, Monsanto also doesn't have that much going down. But it's enough. With the War Blades, that's kind of plenty. For the time being. Because if Eddie just picks up any 1-drop spell, and there's like 6 in there, he just changes this instantly.
Yeah.
Demon Companion, Infestation, Tracking, Wound Prey, they're all in there.
Wow, just hero powering it. I guess here. Oh, the payoff. Oh, if he gets taunt. Whoa.
Yeah, Taunt would be superb for him. An extra point of damage just for nothing.
Yeah.
The other two are fine as well, but yeah, that's the big one because he's expecting to have his board blown up at some point very soon.
Don't you dare respect Immolation Aura.
I mean, he shouldn't. Monsanto did keep a card.
Because if he has Immolation Aura, he's just not going to use it. He's just going to hero power this down again because you didn't play a spell.
Mm-hmm.
I think he has to.
I think he knows. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he does a lot of plays where he sort of he knows what he's got to do but doesn't want to do it. A bit like that the Rhino in the first game.
Yeah. Spectral Sight was my first
Yeah.
thought, but there's also like Illidari Studies. You can find like I-Beam or I forget the name of the weapon, that 1 damage AoE weapon. Coin.
The 4 mana one. Or used to be
It's 3 mana.
is it 3? Red.
Maybe.
Dead, Dread. I lost track of what got nerfed.
Decides to
I know.
coin out Aldraki.
Dreadlord's
Warblades.
Bite. It is 3. Dreadlord's Bite.
So he could have like Illidari studies if he hits Dreadlord's Bite. It's a clear because he can coin it out because it'd be reduced to 2. But like we discussed earlier, Neil, there are a lot of Outcast cards.
Yep.
And that would be
10.
really the only one. Oh, there's 10? I thought there were more.
There's yeah, I thought there were more. There's Sigil Runner, Philosophy, Spectral Sight, Corvus Bloodthorn. It doesn't count. That's not got Outcast itself. It just appears in the list. Spectral Sight, Dreadlord's Bite, Eye Beam, like you say, and all the rest is stuff like Glide and Stelina. Like no use at all in this situation.
So Monsanto's goal here is to try not to take much damage. Next turn, play Illidari Studies, and then Skull on 5 and stabilize from there.
Yeah. The damage is coming in so fast, though.
Yeah, I mean, he's at 21, and there's 5 on board. So Face Hunter does need some time to set up damage. So this next turn is just all about get the Illidari set played, but don't play an Outcast card. So it's probably hero-powered Blood Mage Illidari Studies.
Do you want a Blood Mage in play in case they've got Rhino, though?
Wait. Oh no, Kurtrus Ashfallen is not good here.
I think you might have to keep the Blood Mage in your hand. If you play it, you might just take 5 for no reason.
Well, then what are you playing? I want to play something.
Spectral Sight without Outcast?
No, because then you eat up the Illidari Studies buff. He needs a skull next turn. I guess you play nothing. Because you don't want to get Piercing Shot or Rhino, like you said.
I mean, the Piercing Shot's already dealt with, right? That's, he'll blow up his own minion if needed. But the Rhino's a big deal.
True. That's honestly tough.
Grows short.
Okay.
It's going to need to be the Skull of the Century if he just hero powers and pass this turn.
Yeah, this is just all right, I guess. I think he came to the same conclusion you got to, which is there's more chance that killing some stuff on the board now and having a minion is good than Skull of the Century. But then earlier we saw Frozen with a similar sort of decision and ended up just getting the stuff he needed.
Yeah.
And that just got absorbed, to be fair. So maybe the Skull was the right play. Because now in hindsight looking at this, it's like, actually, nothing really changed.
Yeah.
Except you didn't get to Skull.
Yeah, that was a brutal game for Monsanto. It honestly felt like he was dealing with the early board pretty reasonably. He was just never able to find that definitive swing. And maybe it was supposed to be just play nothing and then Skull the next turn and hope you hit Talented Arcanist, Fellscream Blast in that mix, or Talented Arcanist, Moarg, Fellscream Blast. Like maybe that is a desperation situation because what he did there, I don't even know what he could draw off the top that would have saved him, right? By playing the Kurtrus Ashfallen, I just don't feel like he was giving himself any outs. It's possible, but maybe he was just hoping that Immolation Aura would come off the top.
In that case, though, you go for the Thanos and hope they don't have the Rhino. Like, that's more... I talk about not wanting that. If you're that desperate, if you're going to go that route, but then you don't get to Skull.
I think the Thanos with Fellscream Blast potentially could have bailed them out, or with Immolation Aura could have bailed them out. Like there were things that he could have drawn, but I don't know. That one's really tough. That type of situation, I think either way gives you the same kind of outs to win in the long run, because he would have had to hit almost exactly a certain combination of cards for Skull to bail him out too, whereas maybe one draw off the top by playing this way and taking a little bit of damage off board could have saved him like Immolation Aura, but we'll see. Now it's down to the final matchup. It's the OTK Demon Hunter for Monsanto versus the Weapon Rogue for Eddie, and you know, a lot of times you think, wow, Weapon Rogue just kills them and kills them faster and doesn't even give them minions to combo. But 2 oozes in Monsanto's OTK Demon Hunter. That could make the difference, the biggest of differences.
But he was still willing to keep an I-Beam because of how powerful it is. Despite the fact you might think he's looking just for ooze, there's a lot of card draw in this deck. So, you know, I-Beam, the health gain, just get something off the board. We saw how dangerous things can be if they sit around on the board in this rogue deck. Just rating that highly enough.
Break the walls, see?
Yeah, who's got the weapon now?
There's the sword.
Yeah. And you're kind of an open goal when you're this Demon Hunter. This is the problem. If you don't blow up the weapon, this is just going to be ridiculous pretty quickly.
Yeah, this one you're not worried about as much, but with the Silverleaf Poison, it's awkward because it's drawing cards further to get to the Swine Tusk. And so if you ooze it, then the Swine Tusk will come out and be more damage, but if you don't ooze it, then this weapon could just destroy you because it's drawing cards. Eddie's probably just going to use this to draw cards because he's got another Silverleaf Poison in hand. But we'll see. Monsanto, Illidari said he's played, but nothing good here. No card draw, which is the biggest thing.
Maybe take the Glavesmith in case you need a big healing turn and just sort of chill. You've got both Warblades going on.
Well, it's going to be in too awkward of a position, I think.
Okay.
Because if you don't play it this turn, then you're going to have to play every card off the top until you need healing, because all these cards on the left aren't going to be played in time. I don't think.
You're never going left here. You might get the Spectral Sight off, but you're never going any further than that. So,
Philosophy is the easiest one to dump. Not right now, obviously, because there's nothing to target, but
yeah, there's dumping and then there's just throwing away a card that actually has a purpose. There's, yeah. At the moment, he wouldn't mind being in position to be able to dump. Like, he's going to I-beam this just so he's Spectral Sight.
Man Crick! Pull out the Man Crick! Nope.
I don't know where that's from. Alright, gain some health, draw some cards.
Is the Talented Arcanist necessary? Because you could just I-beam and smack it.
There's is it necessary, and there's do you mind playing it as well? Like the other side of that, you've got the other Arcanist in hand anyway, so might as well play it to make some space. It did a positive thing, so.
Okay, so Eddie doesn't want to all in on this weapon too much. One, because the possibility for ooze, and two, because it's only got 2 durability left, so he's not getting many more swings out of it. Maybe he can part ways with the second Silverleaf, but looks like Secret Passage it is. The thing I don't like about the Secret Passage is, what if he hits weapons? He doesn't want to re-equip because of the ooze. Okay, Cutting Class. All right. Okay. I mean, that's just like the 4 best cards that he could draw from the Secret Passage, because he can dump all of them without overextending with the weapon into ooze.
Draw a load of cards, kill your board, stop you from doing anything with your skull next turn that you might have on the left.
I mean, does he even have hand space? He hits 6 cards on the other side?
No. Apparently not.
Yeah, he didn't even have hand space.
Has he burned the weapon?
No, he didn't have a weapon in hand, right?
Okay.
He will burn a card, though. And I don't know if he had an extra card or not.
But the neophyte did stop the. I mean, there wasn't a skull in position, but it would have stopped the skull.
Oh my gosh. So he wants a skull next turn, so he's going to play the second philosophy, right?
Yep. It's going to be an army of Moags. I don't know what you call a collection of Moag artificers, but...
Flock.
Flock. A quadrupling. Flock.
He can philosophy skull next turn anyway, because the philosophy will only cost 1.
I think you
Cloak of Shadows.
Flock if you're on the other side, honestly. Right, so...
Cloak of Shadows is probably the best burn in his deck because it's nearly useless in this deck against OTK Demon Hunter. They're not killing you with minions. Their OTK goes through stealth anyway. So that was a good burn for Eddie in the grand scheme of things.
Trying to work out if he can set up a good 2-turn, but I don't think he's got enough.
He needs a second weapon if he wants to set up a 2-turn.
It needs to go through the heel, doesn't it? Which isn't good.
Yeah. And he's not playing any poisons this turn. He could play Sinister Strikes. I think he does have to dump Sinister Strikes because this Self-Sharpening Sword does have a Silverleaf Poison, so when he attacks, it will draw a card. He doesn't really have any cards to dump besides the Sinister Strikes, though. That's the bummer.
I mean...
He could dump a prep.
Yeah, that's what I was going with. I don't know if you ever really need this prep. You've got 7 mana and everything costs 1 and 2. It's nice, but is it a luxury item at this point, maybe? Oh, well, that actually does set up.
Yeah, it does. You're right. Let's see, Dagger,
Yeah.
Deadly. That's 5. Paralytic, that's 6. Plus Wicked Stab. Yeah. Does he have mana? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He does, especially with prep.
Wow.
If he doesn't hit a substantial amount of heal here, he could just... Okay, Chaos Strike first. Okay.
Yeah, Chaos Strike.
Oh!
High Beam. Wow.
Okay, now hold on here, though.
Heal you wanted.
He used both Talented Arcanists.
Yes.
He's got double Fellscream Blast. Thera Augmerchant, Blood Mage Thanos. Yeah, he should have enough. He just needs to hold on to a Moarg. 2 Moargs make it easier.
Yeah.
Doesn't need to overreact. Goes up to 20. 21.
Yeah, and he's giving Eddie a big headache here as well. We can see the hand, and Eddie knows some of it, but...
Yeah.
It's back! We need
He doesn't have a weapon.
Yeah, that seems like something that you need in a weapon rogue deck.
Well, Swindle can't get you a weapon. Those are his bottom cards. Ignore the Wicked Stabs.
3 weapons.
5 cards remaining. 3 of them are weapons.
And one's a weapon buff.
All right. All in on this Wicked Dagger.
Yeah. I think class, that'll draw a weapon, I bet you.
There it is.
Yes.
Choose soon.
Well, he's actually getting this. It's getting to the point where this has to be oozed, right?
Yeah. But Monsanto only has 16 cards himself. He's sculling next turn if he doesn't win. They can get the ooze to have a chance, although maybe ooze isn't enough. Ooze is probably okay for one more turn. Sure.
Alas, poor Warlock.
Ooze.
Ooze?
He's dead. Right? Even if he oozes. Swine Tusk Shank, Silverleaf Poison plus the 3/10. Or not Silverleaf
Double
Poison,
jump into
Wicked
his
Stab.
lead. Has he got another Eye Beam in his deck?
No.
doesn't know.
Does not. That's his deck. Only healing left is the Fellscream Blast.
Yeah.
There's not enough.
Wow.
Didn't find the use quick enough, and
Could have I-beamed for more when he I-beamed as well.
it's the Mankrik. The Mankrik made the difference. Because he could ooze, he trade over the 2-1. There would still be the 3-10 on board. That's 3. Swine Tusk. That's 5. Wicked Stab. That's 9. Exactly 9. Yep, he got there.
Wow. What a series. I've thoroughly enjoyed this series between two of the obviously best players in the region. And Eddie is well excited to win this. Monsanto takes another tough one. But Eddie, 3-2 winner, goes through to the next round, to the top 8. Gets himself another point. And Monsanto, for the second week in a row, has a pretty heartbreaking loss on stream, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, those situations are tough because there's these situations where, you know, you're playing like this counter deck, but you have just a couple tech cards, and incremental healing like that Monsanto used earlier on in the game are not like that effective against Weapon Rope because they deal their damage in such a huge burst, right? They're not like whittling you down and running themselves out of resources. They're whittling you down and just acquiring more damage every single turn to where it gets to like this breaking point. Now that was close though, right? Eddie was essentially out of damage. There was nothing left. It was just the Swine Tusk Jank. So if Monsanto had one more turn to heal, stabilize with Moargs, if he drew Fellscream Blast, I mean, if he drew Fellscream Blast, he might have just won with double Moarg plus Il'gynoth, but